it's Linda with No Frills ASMR. I'm back from my Alaska vacation and I wanted to tell you guys about it. So I'm going to talk to you all about, I went on the Celebrity Summit cruise ship from Vancouver to Seward. So I'll tell you all about the trip. This is an ASMR style of video, so it will be a little rambly and slower than maybe a typical cruise breakdown video, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. I went out to my garden today and picked these peonies. Aren't they pretty? And I have a little cup of black tea with this cute cup that has birds on it. Anyway, okay, so first off, we had an awesome, amazing time. It was very fun. And the whole thing started out with us flying to Toronto, and then from Toronto we flew to Vancouver on Air Canada. And I'll be honest, the flight was kind of tight. Like, there was not much leg room, and I'm short. I'm only 5'4.5" or so. And they had onboard entertainment. But you had to pay $4 for these plug-in earbuds, which I didn't do because I had actually downloaded things onto my phone. So my brother-in-law had these from his flight and gave them to me for the trip home, but I never used them because I'm too cheap to pay $4 for these. But anyway, so if you are flying on Air Canada International, no, it wasn't international because it was Toronto to Vancouver. But anyway, if you want to listen to their in-flight entertainment, bring some plug-in earbuds because it doesn't use Bluetooth. But these were from Delta, and that's what my brother-in-law flew, and they got them for free. So, I don't know. But anyway, so the flight was fine, uneventful. Everything ran on time. And we got to Vancouver, and that was nice. We actually, while in Vancouver, the Canucks were playing hockey, and there were a whole bunch of people out on the street because they had a game that day who were just there trying to get people to honk. It was pretty fun. And they gave me this Canuck sticker, which I took because I wanted to show you guys. Is he a shark? Oh, he's an orca? What is he? I don't know. What's a Canuck? Anyway, so that was fun. But they played the day we sailed out, so we didn't get to be there actually on the night that they played. We were there the morning of. We spent one night in Vancouver at the Hampton Inn downtown. It was okay. I won't go into all the details, but their service person there was pretty rude, to be honest, to me, which I don't know why. One thing from the flight I wanted to show you guys. This is Georgian Bay, but we also flew over Lake Superior, and I did that video on the Great Lakes and how big Lake Superior was. And I am telling you, you could look forever and just see blue water. That's how big it is. And I thought, I should take a picture of that for you guys. And then here are the ladies who were all out trying to get honks for the Canucks, which was fun. Let me see if I have any other things from Vancouver. No other pictures, but while we were at the Hampton Inn, the elevators broke, and I think we were on the 6th floor, but there were maybe 14 floors. And I was like, can you imagine if you had to walk with your luggage up all the steps? So, needless to say, We were fine because we're young enough. We can carry our luggage, but there were people there who were not very happy. Anyway, so that was the Hampton Inn. It was fine. Um, we landed at the airport and we took the SkyTrain over to downtown, and that was really easy. So if you are doing a cruise like this, you can land in Vancouver, hop on the SkyTrain, take it. You can take it to a bunch of different stops downtown. There are maps. It's super easy. They used to make you buy a card, I think, but now you just put your credit card on the thing when you go in and your credit card when you go out, and they charge you. I don't remember how much it was, but it wasn't expensive, I don't think. So that first day in Vancouver, it was like 80 degrees and sunny. And we came from 40 degrees and cold, so that was kind of nice. So we went and had pizza outside at a restaurant called Ignite Pizza, and they had half off beer for their happy hour. And we had lost time, so we were hungry for dinner, but it was kind of an odd time. But anyway, that was actually really nice. The pizza was delicious, even though it seemed like kind of you know how like in downtown you have a business center kind of area. It seemed kind of like that, so I wasn't sure how it would be. But it was really good. And maybe we were just hungry, I don't know. And the beer was cheap. And honestly, sitting in the sunshine, I was ready to sit there all day, but my sister's like, let's go. So we walked around quite a bit, went to the harbor, kind of wandered around Vancouver, ended up going to a place called Mill Street Pub and had a couple of local brews there. So Vancouver's pretty. It's very modern. There was only like one little street where there were some old Victorian houses, but most of it felt very modern. We happened to be walking along and saw this pendulum, and I'm not talking a little I mean, I don't know how many stories tall it was. If anybody's from Vancouver, I couldn't find a write-up. Well, at the time, I haven't looked since being home. But there is this building, and there is this huge, huge pendulum. And it's like so cool. And so we kind of walked in there, and it was late, but it was still unlocked. So my brother-in-law, I think, took some video, but I didn't have any. But it was really cool. I bet it looks like it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating, but 10 stories tall, this pendulum. It was crazy. And then the next morning, we had heard it was, cool to go to Gastown and see the, what is it? The steam clock. So we did walk down there and took a picture or whatever. It was kind of neat. It went ding, ding. We happened to be there when it was chiming, so that was kind of cool. It looks like an old clock, but I think it's actually from the 90s or something. And then that day, we got on board the ship. And you have to go through the Vancouver port. Now, I've been to a few. I've been to Fort Lauderdale and Baltimore and Barcelona. I don't know. I've been to a few ports. Vancouver was not the best. I mean, it was clean and it was fine, but they kind of that was the moment that I don't like on board cruise ships, where you feel like kind of like cattle being herded, because they go down there. And my son and I wanted to there's a tower you can go up and look out the top. And so we asked them, we said, can we just get on and then be able to leave the ship and come back, because it was still early? And yeah, no problem. Well, that wasn't really true, because it took a long time to get through all that. I guess what you're doing is going into American customs, going through that, but they kept herding you into a room, and then they put up chairs and you could sit, and then you were waiting, but you didn't really know what you're waiting for. And then they herd you into another room, and people are anxiously kind of pushing and like there's no rush. We're all gonna, So that was the worst, I'd say, of everything. And it wasn't that bad. It was fine. Whatever. It took probably 45 minutes, I'd say, maybe, to go through all that. And then we're on board the ship. And then I said to my son, should we go run off? But we were hungry. So we went and ate. And then, I don't know, we just ended up not leaving the ship again in Vancouver. But we did see at the harbor the seaplanes land, which I put a short video of. That was really kind of fun watching those. And they're constant. I mean, just because they're like tourist, I think they're sightseeing planes. Yeah, Vancouver's a nice place. So I was going to show you. I found this map last second here, but I haven't actually looked at it. Okay, I think I can fold it this way. All right. So here we are. We started here in Vancouver. Excuse me. I use some water. And it's hard to tell from this map, but I guess you go up this teeny tiny river. Is that right? So the boat that we were on, the ship, Celebrity Summit, it's a smaller, older ship. It had a refurbishment in, I think, 2016. But it's an older ship, and that does not bother me. I like the smaller ships. I have been on a bigger ship, and for me, it was too many people, like just too much crowds. So I like the smaller ones. So I think it may have been almost sold out, but I don't think it was totally sold out. So I would say maybe 2,000 people on board, maybe. I never heard that, but it's small enough that it can go through the inside passage, and that's kind of cool. But anyway, so we leave Vancouver. And here's Vancouver. What the heck? What? I didn't think that looked right. Here's Vancouver in Canada. What is this Vancouver in the US? Anyway, whatever. All right, so we leave Vancouver, and that is what's considered day one, I believe, of your cruise. Is the day you leave. So that day you're kind of roaming around the ship, and my sister always wants to go on a tour of the spa, even though we never get spa. Last time I was on a Royal Caribbean, I even won a gift certificate. I think it was for $100. And then I was just so busy doing stuff that I never used it. And I gave it to my sister. I go, you use it, because I kind of have spa phobia. And that's kind of true. I don't know why. I get kind of nervous about that. I don't know why. But she never went either, so we wasted it. Anyway, so night one, though, we went and we had dinner in the main dining room, and we set it up so that, they have Celebrity has they have early and late seating dining, and then they have something like dine on your own or whatever, where you can just walk up and say, I'd like to sit down, and they find you a seat. But then they also have where you can make reservations beforehand. And so I had reserved for 5:45 for every night, because we were coming from the other side of the country. So we kind of wanted to keep our whole day earlier so that we'd be getting up really early to see wildlife, because that's part of why I wanted to do this. Anyway, so the first day we went and talked to the maitre d', and I told her that, we wanted all of us together every night. And so she's like, no problem, set us up with a table, and we could just go right in when we got there. So that was easy, smooth sailing. So we had dinner that night. I don't recall now what we ate, but for the most part, everything we ate on board the ship was pretty good to very good. Um, it was pretty rare that we had something that we were like, that's not good. But it doesn't matter. There's always something else, you know? But for the most part, I felt like the food was pretty good. Anyway, so that night we went to dinner, and then I think we rushed kind of over to watch the show that night. And we knew that the Northern Lights were available, where you could see them in a lot of places all over the country that night. So we were kind of excited for it to get dark, but it doesn't get dark till pretty late there in Alaska. And anyway, so we went to the show, and the show was good. Very similar to other shows that we've seen on cruise lines. And, you know, one thing with cruise, it's all a little cheesy. I'm just going to put it out there. It's a little corny. The shows are kind of cheesy, corny. But if you just sort of let yourself go with it, it's good. It's fun. It's fine. But my one issue with their show, I don't know. It's like a whole bunch of, they were all like, the whole cast basically, at least that first night, they were all, the singers are white folks. And from all over the world, you know. But they would come out rapping and trying to sing like hip hop. And it made me cringe. I mean, I'm pretty accepting of cheesiness, but I was like, oh my goodness, this is embarrassing. So that was a little cringy. And my son had come with us, and he's, 24, and he's looking at me like, oh my God. But anyway, they could use some diversity within their entertainment, I would say, across the board, really. So that was kind of funny. I mean, it was to the point where the one guy, when he came out rapping, I kind of sort of laughed like under my breath, but I heard other people laugh. Like, that's how it was like, okay, that's weird. But anyway, also the whole cast, they were good, but they were like in a competition to be the best singer of the crew. And so every song they sang like it's the grand finale song, to the point where they're like actually screaming and yelling at points. It's like, guys, you gotta start low and work your way up. But whatever, it was good. It was fine. We saw most of the shows, I think. Not all of them, but quite a few. They're usually, the good thing about them is I think they're usually like 45 minutes. They don't go on so long that you're like itching and scratching to get out of there. It's like, okay, fine. It's a little entertainment. It's fine. And it's all included in the cost of the cruise. So some of it was good. There was actually these two who were, what do you call it? Where they like that Cirque du Soleil where they do gymnastics, and they would hang from the ropes and twist around. They were cool. They were good. Anyway, okay. So that's the entertainment. So that night we went up on the back of the ship, and surprisingly, there was nobody there. I mean, it was like us and maybe one other lady who had a professional camera set up. She was ready to go. And we stood out there for a while looking, and we ended up seeing the Northern Lights. And it was awesome. So that's night one. And we were like, boy, if we saw this night one, this is going to be good. Now, one thing with the Northern Lights, when you look at it with your camera, your phone camera, it brings out all the even more color than you see in person. So just know when people show you pictures like this, they're a little brighter than really what you see in person. I've seen the Northern Lights 2 other times, once as a kid on a canoe trip and once during college, and both times were in Michigan. So this is actually my third time, and my first time with a camera, with a phone camera. But this was, I mean, you could see, like with your bare eyes, you saw this. It wasn't like, because there were times where you could see it with your camera, but you, couldn't see it with your, regular eyes. But at this moment, you could see it. You could see the colors and everything. It was pretty cool. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Okay, so you guys, I'm only to the Northern Lights and we're at 20 minutes. I may have to break this up into multiple videos. All right, so that's basically a day one. Now, what they give you on board is what's called the Celebrity Today. I feel like we call it something else. But anyway, we call it the Compass, but maybe that's a Royal Caribbean phrasing. So day 2, Saturday, May 11th, the Inside Passage cruising. So this was a day at sea, and the evening attire is evening chic, which used to be formal, but people have gotten so much less formal to the point where, like, I had on, and I looked pretty good. This sounds worse than it was, but they're like these almost like stretchy yoga pants, but they look like slacks, and then a pretty blouse and like ballet flats, because I could only pack one small bag in my backpack. And you're packing sweaters and stuff for Alaska. But anyway, so don't worry about that evening chic. I mean, as long as you look nice, if you have a shirt with a little sparkle in it or something. I don't know. I just had like a silky blouse. It was fine. So yeah. And then they had this captain's welcome. We didn't go to that. We were going to. We got busy. We were just busy. We did go to this. We went to both of these. They have these Beyond the Podium, they're called. And they kind of have these experts come in and talk to you about different things that you're going to see. So they had this Mary Amanda come in and talk about Ketchikan, Alaska's first city. And she kind of talked about the history and what you'd see there and totem poles. And then they had this Brent Nixon, who apparently does photography for National Geographic and other things. And he told us all about humpback whales. That was interesting. I actually learned some stuff there. So that was interesting. What was this one? Alaska, the Adventure Begins. I don't think we may have done all these. I don't remember. I know it was a long time because we were kind of like, okay, we got to get moving and walk around. Oh yeah, this was on Mother's Day. So it's kind of crazy because you think, well, what am I going to do all day on a day at sea? But somehow you keep yourself busy all day. And what we did, a lot of it, what we spend our time doing is looking off the side of the boat, because I find it very relaxing, one. And two, I really wanted to see like any kind of wildlife. And we saw a lot. And by the end of the cruise, it was the last day, and we were looking outside, and at that point we had seen so many creatures. Like, I'll tell you more, but so many. And this woman said, "Oh, how do you spot a whale? I've never seen a whale." And it's the last day, and they're all over them. If you look out a window, you will see a whale. And we're like looking at her like, where have you been? So one thing I will say is look out a window, But I know a lot of people, I don't know, there's so many things, like you could play bingo and slots and go to the shows, and I guess not look off the side of the boat, but we do spend a lot of time doing that. But I think this day we went to the solarium, and I know my son and I went to the outdoor pool. I think maybe it was that day, and we did the polar plunge because the water comes right. It's like ocean water. It's ice cold. Indoor, they have it heated. Anyway, yeah. That's all I can think of for that day. So then, but we did see something awesome that day, and I can't think because I remember my brother-in-law saying, day 1, we saw this, day 2. I know that night my husband won $500 in a slot machine, and he does not play. He put in like a $10 bill and hit max bet on this one and won 500. And then he cashed it out, and that was it. I'm like, dude, you're so lucky. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. That's all I have to say about that, I guess. So then technically day 3. They talk about the next day in here, I guess. So it was Ketchikan. And that was the first time my sister and I ever stepped on Alaskan soil, which made it the last state that we had to visit to go to all the U.S. states. So now we've been to them all. And that was kind of, I mean, not really our goal, but it was kind of like, oh, once we go here, we've been to them all. So here's Ketchikan. So we've sailed on the day at sea all the way up into Ketchikan. So there, we got off the ship really early, and we find if you're willing to get up and get off early, you beat all the crowds. Like, there's nobody around really. So we got up early and we walked what's known as Creek Street, which is all like boardwalks raised above the creek. And there's a whole history with, sex workers, I guess, who had all these buildings they had built out of wood, so they built the thing above the creek. I don't know if I'm explaining this right. And they had all the guys who came in for the gold rush or oil or whatever the heck, who are known as sourdoughs because so much yeast would grow under their chins that they'd smell like sourdough. And so that was kind of the big industry there for a while, I think, was the sex workers. And then when the men went away during, I guess it was World War II, the women had to upkeep all of the wood and stuff because it was falling apart. I don't know. There was a whole interesting story. And there's a house, I think it's called Dolly's House, that you can visit. We looked at it from the outside, but I was trying to read the signage and whatever. And then we walked to the Totem Pole Heritage Museum, I think it's called. And that was nice and kind of interesting, but I didn't realize we could have taken a bus. We didn't really know that. And my husband has some health issues, so doing all that walk kind of exhausted him, to be honest, and we should have taken the bus. But anyway, and then we took the bus to another part of Ketchikan where we got off, and my husband stayed on and went back to the ship to rest. And that's part of why I like cruising, because he can't do everything that we do or I want to do. And he has to, have rest. And being able to go back to the ship and rest is just so nice for him, and be able to get food there and everything. And then even on days like when we're on board, he can just go back to the room anytime he needs to and take a break. And I can still be out having fun without, being by myself, really, you know what I mean? So that's part of why we like to cruise. So I think if you are a person with any kind of disabilities, cruising is really nice for that. They have elevators everywhere. They kind of cater to that a little, and it's just, I think it's really nice for that reason. Anyway, all right, so then my sister and myself, my son, my brother-in-law, we got off at this bus stop, and we let me see if I can find that picture. and we took a hike that was called, I think it was called Rainbird Trail. And you kind of walk up this side of this mountain and you get like a beautiful view, and it's just a rainforesty kind of trail. That was really nice. We enjoyed that. So you walk up like one side and then you come down over here and you come out like below Creek Street, I think. And so then we were walking up that way and I noticed this bar that I'd heard about called Asylum Bar. And they have beers for $3.50, local Alaskan beers. So we ran back up to the port and got my husband and said, come on, we're going to have beer. And we thought they had food, but they did not that day because it was Monday, I guess. So we just had potato chips. Actually, it must have been Sunday. I think it was Mother's Day. I don't remember. Anyway, whatever. So that was fun. We had fun. But it's a dive bar, like a legit dive bar. And we went to another bar before we got back on board this ship called Sourdough Pub, I think it was called, right by the port. And that was nice too. But we aren't high end. We do everything kind of, on the cheap. We're not taking the excursions they have. We just make our own way, and we find that's fun. Like, we have a lot of fun doing that. So anyway, okay, so then we got back on board the ship that night, and that was Ketchikan. Okay, so this was that day 3, I guess so, Ketchikan. Near the southernmost tip of Alaska's Panhandle sits a sleepy little town with a very dramatic title. Squeezed between mountains and sea, it is hard to imagine how the town got the Tlingit Indian name Ketchikan, thundering wings of an eagle. For the rugged soul that climbs the 3,000-foot Deer Mountain that overlooks the town, the mystery is quickly solved. From that vantage, the town, once a Tlingit summer fishing camp, sprawls out in the perfect shape of an eagle in flight. What? Hold on a minute. Is that this view? Must have to climb a lot higher. I don't see it. Yeah, so they have like an all aboard. So you get off at a certain time and then you have to be all aboard. So you do have to keep track of that and not be late. Let's see, this night. Yeah, we went to see the comedian. Or maybe, I think maybe we saw him the night before. I don't know. He's all right. Everybody hung out at the martini bar, but we didn't have the drink package, and I don't drink martinis. So we didn't really do that at all. Yeah, here's what Ketchikan, when you first walk in, there's this sign, so you can kind of take your picture there. But this is all very touristy area here, but you don't have to walk very far to get, like when we were on the trail that we went on, there was nobody. We were all by ourselves out there. All right, so look at this. Hold on a minute. They gave me, when I came to my room, this was in my room, and it says, from Effie with love. And Effie is their jewelry store on board. And I was like, oh, that's interesting that they gave me this necklace. But now I realize you were supposed to go buy, they were giving you this, so you go buy the trinkets to put inside here. Oh. All right. I'm going to come up with something funny to put in there and then give it to my sister, I think. I don't know what, because she'll know exactly. I'll put it back in this package. What could I put in there that would be kind of funny? Huh. Anyway, this was, everybody had one in their room. It's kind of cute, I guess. It's like a magnet. I've never shopped at the jewelry store. I don't do that, really. Yeah. Okay. So then, let's see, what was the next day? Monday, May 13th, day 4, Sitka. Evening attire, smart casual. Sitka. When you embark on a cruise to Sitka, Alaska, you'll find yourself nestled between the Pacific Ocean and the stunning wilderness that covers much of America's 49th state. Yeah, Alaska became a state in 1959, I think, became the 49th. Known for its Klingit heritage and Russian colonial past, Sitka displays its unique history and its architecture, including the St. Michael's. The St. Michael's. I think they wanted to write cathedral or church. I forgot. I don't know. Anyway, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So Sitka, it was good. It was good. But I would say of the stops, I think it was our least favorite. Let's see what they say here. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I think I have. Okay. Visit Sitka. So you port, I'm not sure where on this map, but you have to take a shuttle into the downtown area, which is here, I guess, the Civic Center. And then what we did, that was really nice. We just walked the Sea Walk. And along here somewhere, there's like an Episcopal church that's pretty to look at. And then there's a nature center here that we didn't actually stop. And there's a bathroom along the way that was actually really nice and clean. And then it's a flat trail, as I recall. And you can go through this whole trail here. And it's a rainforest looking trail. It's very pretty. It's a very pretty walk. And along there are totem poles. Oh, I think I have a picture of one. Hold on. Let me pull it up. This is the only one I had that I don't take pictures. There are a lot of them that are painted with all kinds of color. But I kind of thought this one was cool looking. And maybe they just haven't painted it yet, because they are still working on some of them. But they are all, I think some of them are like replicas of old ones, and some of them are actually just new designs. But I could be wrong about that. But there are stories. They have signs that tell you, the stories of each one. Very interesting, and a culture where women are very like strong, and a lot of times they're at the bottom of the pole, kind of holding the thing up. But just really pretty. So that was a very nice walk. I recommend doing that. And then after you do that, where is it? Okay. This Raptor Center, I guess we came out here, because I thought you just walk right up, but I guess we came out right here. And then we had to walk up the road to the Raptor Center. And when we got there, I know they have tours that go there, but because we walked, there was nobody there. I mean, maybe 4 other people were at the Raptor Center. Tons of employees. I think it was $18 a person. And depending on your budget and who you're with. Like if I had the kids, like little younger kids with me, I think it's kind of neat. But I have seen, I don't know how to say it. They have like a couple of bald eagles. There's some hawks, a golden hawk. I think there was some kind of owl. There were a lot of employees, but nobody explaining really what's going on. They show you a little movie. Unless you went up and started asking questions, they weren't like volunteering information about the different animals. So I don't know whether, I don't regret going, and I don't really know what else you do in Sitka. So you may as well go. But if you're sort of tight on your budget, it's not big. It's not big at all. There's maybe 6 cages. So I don't know. But right in the parking lot, there's a trail you can hike, and it has signs all over saying bear are on this trail. Well, the salmon weren't running when we were there, so there were no bear. But I could imagine there would be bear. And I think that could be exciting because they would be well fed because of the salmon. So you might want to take that trail. But we took it. It was pretty. It was a pretty little trail. I like hiking, like better than the caged animals. They are helping. I mean, what do you call it? They're animals that have been hurt or whatever, I guess. Anyway, whatever. So then we got on a bus, and the bus took us out to Fortress of the Bear, which I had heard is cool. But when we got on the bus, all 4 people got on, and I was the last one on, and they said if there's no seat, you have to get off. Well, these women at the very back of the bus were really sweet, and they're like, sit with us, because they had a little bit bigger seat than like the average seat. So I like crammed it on the end of their seat, and they let me take the bus. And we went up to Fortress of the Bear, which I think is the last stop of that bus. And I think it was $25 maybe to go look around Fortress of the Bear. And we were kind of lucky that they were feeding the bear right when we walked in. And apparently they have these, I didn't hear this myself, but my brother-in-law said they have the bears trained. So they ask for food by making hand movements. I don't know if that's true. But it was kind of cute. They were feeding the bear, but it does feel very, I mean, they're in these like old, I don't know what they were. We were there such a short time because we had to catch the bus home. They didn't read everything. Anyway, I give that a 5 out of 10. Like, if you can afford it and you want to go see bear, and if you have kids, it's probably neat. And we were lucky. We saw them getting fed, which was adorable because they were very cute getting fed. But we saw bear in the wild. So, I don't know. It's up to you. But the bad part was, all of a sudden we realized we got to catch the bus back. And these buses, they fill up. So and I only knew that because I almost got kicked off on the way there. So we went running down to the bus stop and waited and waited and waited. And the ladies who had given me a seat also were there. So we're like all kind of arm in arm, like we're getting on the bus. And so the bus pulls up and we all get on, and all these other people from Fortress of the Bear get on, but then some people couldn't fit on that bus. So there's that concern. So now if they can't get on the next bus, I don't know if there are taxi cabs that'll come out and get you or what, but it was a little I was glad we got on that one. So anyway, in Sitka, I was very glad to have this because I loaned my rain hat to my sister because she forgot a hat. So all I had was my winter, beanie, and it was pouring down rain in Sitka. And so I had brought a few of these, and I put that on, and that worked great. So if you don't have room in your, bag to pack raincoats and whatever, one of these works pretty good. So anyway, so then we got the bus back to here, and we did take a walk over to the Russian, I don't know what's called, what is it called? St. Michael's Cathedral. And this is a very touristy area. They had food trucks, and it was just full of tourists. And I know I'm a tourist, but still I don't like crowds very much. But we did walk through the St. Michael's Cathedral. I swear, anywhere in the world you go, there's going to be a Catholic cathedral. So it was pretty. I think then we headed back. You have to get back on the trolley back to the ship, and it's pouring down rain. And we had to wait in line for the trolley, and it was probably the timing. I'm sure if we'd waited till closer to the time, maybe we could have gotten on. But I don't know. You had to be on the last trolley for our ship was 2:30, but there was also like a Norwegian ship, and they didn't have to be back until like 4, but some of them were still in line. So I don't know, it's possible you wouldn't, I don't know what would happen. Anyway, so that was kind of a pain, having to stand in line in the freezing cold rain. But whatever, we got back, and so we immediately went and sat in the hot tub in the solarium. And that night at dinner, we'd always all go to dinner, and my sister didn't show up. And I was like, where are you? And she had fallen asleep after being in the hot tub. So anyway, but that was, I mean, it was a fun day. We had a lot of good in that day, but there was a lot that I was like, I don't know whether that was just a, some of it felt like a little tourist trap kind of thing. Okay, so that's Sitka. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything there. Oh, and then I think that night, yeah, I take it back. This wasn't the night my sister overslept. That must have been a different night. This night, we had to be all aboard by 3. And we had dinner that night at 6:45, I think, at a restaurant called Cuisine. And Cuisine is a thing they call Le Petit Chef. And it's like, I tried not to look at too much about it beforehand because I kind of wanted it to be a surprise. But they have video of it on board the ship, so you kind of see it before you get on. And it's like this, it's kind of neat. You sit in the seat and they have the plate, and it has like little graphics of this chef cooking your food, and then the food shows up. It was cute. However, the food wasn't very good, and you pay extra. This is an extra fee, specialty dining. I think it was like, I got it on sale on Black Friday, but I think it was like $50 something to do it, plus tip. And I'll tell you, the one course I had was cod, and I worked at a seafood restaurant, and I can tell you the piece they gave me, it was like the bloodline with all this tough. As a server, you would look at that and go, no, I need a new piece. Well, they served it to me. It smelled so bad that my son's like, whoa. And then I kind of called the guy over, but you don't really need any more food. You know, like, I'm like, just, I don't. He brought me out something else. And anyway, the food was mediocre. It was okay. They had a beef Wellington. That was pretty good. But the whole thing, you walk in and it looks like Alice in Wonderland. They have all these funky chairs and everything. But the food is just regular. Like, put some like savory cotton candy on it, or put, make it have smoke, or do something fun. It just wasn't, that great. I wouldn't really recommend it, if I'm honest. And then the beef Wellington that they had, that we all said that was good. Beef Wellington was good. It was on the menu in the main dining room, we paid extra, but it was on the regular menu, the exact same, except it didn't have spinach, it just had mushroom, but otherwise the same. So, I say skip that. Okay, and then the next day, I believe, was, hold on, wait, what day were we on? Day 4, day 5, okay. Day 5 was Juneau. This was such a fun day. We had a great day in Juneau. So where are we now on our map? Let's see. Guys, I'm sorry this is going to take forever. Oh my gosh. So here's Juneau. So in Juneau, I rented a car through Turo, and that worked out absolutely perfectly. She just parked it in a parking garage that was like, you walk off the ship and go to the parking garage, get the car. That was awesome. We went out to Mendenhall Glacier, and that was really nice. Liked it. Let's see if they have a picture. Short walks and nice. Yeah, we kind of took let's see, we pulled up and we took this walk out to Nugget Falls. and the photo point walk. And my husband stayed just back at the visitor center because he can't do all that walking. But there's plenty of spots you can sit and look out. So it's nice for that. And then let's see what else. I guess we took some other little trail over here. I don't recall, but there's plenty of places to photograph. And the glacier, this is the glacier. There's a lake in front of it and the glacier. But when you look at, they have a map inside the visitor center that shows how this little bit of glacier is just the tiniest. I wonder if it's on this map. Not really. You're just seeing like the littlest bit, and it goes back and back and back. So that was cool. Let me see if I have any pictures of Mendenhall. Hold on. Well, yeah. Okay. There's the glacier. This is from the visitor center where my husband was. But you can walk up, like there's, I think that's Photo Point. Now you can take like helicopter tours and get right on it, but that's expensive. We didn't do that. And then here's the waterfall that you can walk to. And it was raging right now because of, like, you can see people right here. That's how big it was. See? It's giant. That was really cool. I love a waterfall. Yeah, so that was awesome. And then we got back in our car from Mendenhall Glacier. We drove to, do they have a map of Juneau? I guess not. Let's read real quick. Nestled deep within the northern reaches of the Inside Passage is Alaska's first truly American city, Juneau, the capital of Alaska, which was founded during a gold rush in 1880. Today, the former gold mining town counts among its riches some of Alaska's most spectacular scenery. Nestled at the foot of Mount Juneau in the Alaska Panhandle, it faces the water from the mainland side of Gastineau Channel. I don't know how to say that. Several magnificent fjords are located along the channel coast, and the majestic Mendenhall Glacier is found nearby. Yeah. So from the Mendenhall Glacier, we drove out to Eagle Beach, which I knew had a beautiful view if it's a clear day. Unfortunately, it was not a clear day, but it was still pretty, and we walked around, and it was nice. And then on the way back from Eagle Beach, I wish I had a map, but I don't. There's another little Catholic church called St. Teresa's, and it has a very pretty view too, but we just kind of did a drive-by. We didn't go inside, but I have heard that it's beautiful flowers and everything. But my people were getting hungry, and so I had heard about a place called the Sandbar that has fried halibut. So we stopped there and ordered fried halibut, and it was one of those situations where, like, they all had a beer. I didn't because I was driving. I'm always the driver. And it was taking enough time that people were getting antsy, you know what I mean? Like 45 minutes, you're kind of like, it's fine, we're on Alaska time, it's cool. And then an hour, people are getting a little more antsy. But then out comes the halibut, and we ordered just like 2 large orders for 5 of us, and they were giant chunks of the most delicious fried halibut. And I'm not a big fried fish eater. I just don't like fried because it gives me a stomachache sometimes, but it was so good. And everybody forgot that we had been waiting at all. Like, it was worth it. We all loved it. Anyway, and that was a dive bar too, though, just so you know. It's not like fancy or anything. But it was delicious. We loved it. So then we got back in the car, and we drove over to Douglas Island, and I'm trying to remember, I don't think we did anything really on the way there, but and then there's like some pull-offs. You can look at the glacier from other points of view. And then we took a trail called Rainforest Trail, and that was pretty. And there's a beach. We sat out on the beach. And let's see what happened there. I'm trying to think. My husband rested. He just stayed in the car and took a nap, I think, but we all walked out there, and oh, I don't know, we saw a porcupine. That was kind of neat. I mean, we were constantly looking for animals, and I have to admit, it's not like when you're in Yellowstone, you see an animal everywhere you turn. They were a little, I think there's just so much land for them to go in. Why be where people are, But, let me see. I took a note here. Let's see what I say. Oh, yeah. And then we drove through the tourist area of Juneau and kind of just looked at everything. We thought about going to try to get the big crab legs, but the lines are just so long, and I don't know. We just never really did that. So then we just could take the tour car back to the spot where we got it from, parked it, and went out and started just walking around Juneau, and we stopped at Alaska Brewing Company, and there were a bunch of husky dogs inside there who were all chill and cool, and we got some food, some bar snacks, and drank some beers. That was very fun. And then we left there and went over to a place called Lucky Lady Irish Pub. These are all, well, Alaskan Brewing's kind of nice, but the Lucky Lady's another kind of dive bar. But we had a good time there because they had a jukebox and we were all talking music, and that was fun. So that was a late night. You didn't have to be back on the ship, I think, until, all aboard 9 p.m. So we didn't get back till about 9 p.m., I think. But it's still light out in Alaska until even after the sun goes down, it's still kind of light. Oops, sorry. But yeah, that was good. I'm trying to remember what else. Did we go see this? Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner. No, we didn't make it to her show. I don't remember what we did that night, but we were always busy, and we were up late and up early. Go. So honestly, you finish this and you're kind of exhausted. Okay, so the next day we were in Icy Point, which I had heard is kind of like, almost like a private island for these ships. I wouldn't go that far. I would say the Icy Point part is kind of like that. They have like a area you can take a gondola up to, you pay, and there's like a whole park up there. I didn't do that. But you can also walk over. There's an old city called Juneau over there. And so, I don't know. I would say we booked a whale watching excursion there through this Juneau Travel Adventures. I think it was, they're not inexpensive. I think it was like 130, maybe 135, something like that. And that was worth it because unless you do the thing where you go up on the mountain, there are a few hikes there and you can walk into town, but there isn't a whole lot to do there. Although from the shoreline, you don't need to take a whale watch. If you can't quite afford this, you don't need to. Don't worry about it. You can, from the shoreline, just bring your binoculars. There were whale jumping everywhere. I mean, you could see so many whales. You don't need to do this. But we all had a great time. Our captain was Denise Gray, and she was Glingit, and her brother was the harbor master, and her other brother, she showed us his boat. It was just like everybody knew everybody, and she was so welcoming and so glad to have us there, and it was really cool. And she, showed us as many whales as she could, and then she took us to see the what does she call them, hairy locals, which are bear. So she went up and we got to see bear walking along the shoreline. So that was fun. We had a good time and really enjoyed, her stories and the boat. It was good. Yeah, I'm glad we did that. It was worth the money, I think, to do that. A lot of people did whale watching at every stop, but we did it this one, but we saw a lot of whale from the ship. A lot. And on Icy Point from the shore. So don't worry if you don't have something like that booked. If you spend time looking off the ship and bring your binoculars, you're gonna see some whale. So let's see, we did the whale watching. I'm trying to think. Hold on, let me check if I wrote a note. Whale watching and bear is what I wrote. Okay, yeah. What do they say? Located near the city of Juneau, the largest native Tlingit Indian settlement in Alaska, home to a historic cannery. Oh yeah, salmon. They have fish. Not salmon, but the little ones. Anyway, whatever. The port's connection to the sea is strong. Locals share the sea with humpback whales, orcas, Dall's porpoises. Yeah, we saw a lot of those. Seals, sea otters. Yeah, we saw those. Halibut, and all 5 species of Pacific salmon. It is not uncommon to spot a humpback or an orca while walking along the shore. Yeah, definitely see those. Oh yeah, this night they do the officer and crew parade. That's really cool. They do that on all these ships where they bring out as many of the crew as can get away from their work, and they tell you how many are from what country and everything. It's kind of fun. Oh yeah, and they did this Carole King. They did this You've Got a Friend, the music of Carole King, and I love Carole King. Some of you may know. And as soon as we sit down in the theater, they have a picture of the backs of 3 people who are going to be the guys or people singing it. And it was 3 guys. And I look at my sister, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So they had 3 guys singing all the music of Carole King. It was good though. It was fun. But would I have liked it to be women? Yeah, I think it would have worked better. My sister and her husband went to Liars Club and they loved it. But I was with my son looking for stuff outside when that happened, I think. Anyway, okay. So that was fun. We did the whale watching there. The next day was Hubbard Glacier. And we were so lucky. We pull up that morning and it had been pretty cloudy. We'd had a lot of cloudy days. And when we pulled up, it was blue, clear skies and just absolutely like stunning. Hold on, let me see if I can. So it just was like the most blue day, and you could see the glacier and all the mountains. See how the clouds, they started to clear up, and next thing you know, it's like, oh my gosh, so beautiful. Yeah. And then as we pulled away later in the day, you're there for many, 4 hours maybe. And they only allow 1 cruise ship in this area at a time, and it kind of does a spinny so you can see it. But as we pulled away, these clouds, look, just started to over. So I don't know if we were like underneath the clouds or if they started to come. I don't know, but it was wild. We're like, whoa, the clouds are covering it. But during that day, that you're in Hubbard Glacier until I think it's like 7 a.m. to like, well, they probably stay here 10 a.m. And then you leave the glacier and start heading towards Seward. And I had been wanting to see an orca because we had seen so many humpback whales and gray whales, just so many. I mean, you guys, I can't even tell you how many. And we started to see a thing that looked like it could be a fin of an orca. And I was like, I think that's a dorsal fin of an orca, I think. But it could have been a dolphin, and you just couldn't quite tell. And that night, we had the blackjack tournament that I practiced for on this channel. And my brother-in-law wanted to practice a little for that. So we went back to our room, and we had gotten such a good deal on this cruise. I can't even tell you. And it was only like $75 more to get a window. And I had looked up the windows in the Celebrity Summit and found these rooms that have extra large windows. So these were in our rooms, these giant windows. And so we were sitting here practicing blackjack. You guys, orca start jumping out of the water right outside our window. And it was too fast to get a picture. None of us got a picture. But I mean, not just their fin, they came out of the water. It was amazing. And these giant windows were amazing. The only issue, and I took a picture of this, when they painted them, they put blue tape along here and didn't take the blue tape off. And I think it's because they have a coating to keep UV rays out. And probably when they left the tape on too long. And when they tried to scrape it off, it would take the coating. So now there's this like blue tape issue. But still a beautiful view and awesome. Let me see. I think I took one from my bed one morning. Yeah. This was the first morning I took this for you guys. I was laying in bed. I'm like, look at this. I can see right out. But after this, I wanted to have my window open every morning. But the sun comes up at 4 a.m., which is too early, and was waking me up. So I couldn't do that every morning. Anyway, okay. So Hubbard Glacier was awesome. And you can take a thing from an excursion that takes you on a smaller boat and you get right up next to the glacier. But that was very expensive and we didn't do it. And I think it was sold out too. Anyway, but it was awesome from the ship. That was fine. All right. So then I guess that's the last day before you go into Seward, which is right here. So you sail all the way over here to Seward. Maybe you had one more day at sea. I don't remember. Anyway, so then we pulled into Seward. So this is the last day, guys. Don't worry. This video won't last forever. Let me see what do I have here until we meet again. Spa stuff. Yeah, they're always trying to get you to go to the spa. It's expensive. There's spa. Okay. So I rented a car from Hertz in Seward. Most people recommend taking the train. There's like a glass enclosed train that you can take. I don't know why. That didn't interest me that much. You can take like a city bus. That didn't interest me. But because we had 5 people, I rented a car from the Hertz and then we just split the cost, and that was cheaper than doing anything else, even though they charge you a pretty penny to rent a car there and drop it off at the airport, because you have to drive from Seward up to Anchorage, which is, I don't know, 2.5 hours or something. They charge you like $250 for the drop off, which is kind of crazy because they can rent that car from there for people coming to Seward for cruises. So like, why? But whatever. It was still worth it. We had an awesome time. So we pulled into Seward. We rented the car at the Hertz. The first car I started driving and it wasn't working right. And they immediately switched it out. Super friendly people there. I loved it. They were wonderful. Very, very nice. Hello, everybody there. Anyway, and they gave me this map and this booklet and stuff. And on Reddit, somebody had said how good luck driving that road from Seward to Anchorage. And so I I don't mind mountain roads, but I was a little bit like, is this going to be hard? It's not. It's like a perfectly fine road. There's no issue driving. None. It was fine. Anyway, so we drove through town a little bit. It was real early still, so there wasn't a whole lot open. We kind of looked around. I guess we went to the Sea Life Center and then we drove along this. There are people camping, and so we drove along here. But then you just get onto the Alaska. I think it's just called the Alaska Highway. Is that what it is? Highway 1? Anyway. from Seward, you just get on this highway, and it's beautiful. There are stops, there are pull-offs all along the way. So you can pull off, and I'm trying to see if there's some more up close. Not really. Plenty of places to pull off and look at the sights. Sorry. It was really pretty, and the whole time I could see the train track right along the road. So I know we didn't, really miss anything compared to the train, and we were able to stop anytime we wanted. So I do recommend that. Let me go back and see if I took pictures. Oh, okay. So first we went to an area called Portage Valley, and you can see some glacier and things there. That was nice. We went to Beluga Point, and we took a little hike there. And with our binoculars, we could see Dall's sheep and mountain goat on the mountainside. We never saw beluga whale, which I really wanted to see. We went to, I think it's called Girdwood, and I was dying for a coffee. And we went to a coffee shop called The Grind and got a latte, and that was delicious. If you end up there, that was good. But everybody was hungry for lunch, and we didn't feel like having a fancy lunch because we'd eaten a lot of fancy food on the ship. So my sister just did a Yelp, look through Yelp or something. I don't know what she was looking at. And she found a place in Anchorage called the Arctic Roadhouse. So we just drove straight there using our maps and had lunch. And it was like the best. We had a halibut sandwich, and I got a halibut sandwich and onion rings, and it was delicious. And I don't think it was just because I was hungry. I think it was really good. And then we left there, and we drove kind of back south to this boardwalk area called Potter's Marsh. And we spent quite a bit of time at Potter's Marsh because we were seeing all kinds of things. Like we saw this moose, and I guess he's a young bull moose because see these, how they're, I don't know. But anyway, and that was cool. And then there was this one bald eagle, and we'd seen a lot of bald eagle by then. So it wasn't like, ooh, a bald eagle. But he was funny because this bald eagle's sitting there, and this seagull, he must have bugged the seagull because the seagull was dive bombing him. And the bald eagle got up and started just walking around, and it looked like he was wearing little pants. He was so cute. I don't have a picture of him. But anyway, that was fun. So we spent quite a bit of time there, just kind of hanging out. And then we went to the airport in Anchorage eventually. But I just summed up that day. That was a long day. We left Seward probably by 8 a.m. maybe, or around there. And we didn't go to the airport till 7 p.m. So we did a lot of hikes and a lot of things along the way. You can just, there's so many places you can stop along the way and just take your time. And we drove into downtown Anchorage and looked around a little bit. I can't think of what else we did there. But anyway, so then we took our plane back and made it home, and everything went smoothly. Oh, I know. People had said to stop at this place along the way, going from Seward up to Anchorage. Oh, yeah, there's a moose with small kind of. Anyway, I guess if you had children or if you were just pulling into Alaska, this would probably be really cool. But since we'd already seen a lot of these animals, we definitely saw a fox and an elk, black-tailed deer, bear, moose. So anyway, we could see this from the road, and it just looked like fences and felt kind of zoo-ish. And I know that they're saying they're conservation center, but we did not go here, and it didn't look like something we were very interested in, because Although seeing a muskox would be pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen one out. Um, I don't know. Oh yeah, we saw porcupine. So a lot of these animals we saw just looking around outside. But I guess it would probably be cool if you had if you were coming in from Anchorage and you just came in, probably be cool. Or if you had little kids, it'd be a good way to see animals. But we did not stop there, even though everybody said to. So anyway, we had a fantastic time. We did the silent disco on board the ship, which sounds cheesy, but it's so much fun. You put on headphones, and the headphones have 3 different songs that you can play. And so everybody has different songs playing, but everybody's dancing. I know it sounds silly, but we were exhausted, and everybody's too tired to do the disco. But then we're like, no, let's just go, because my son hadn't ever been to one. And so we went, and we ended up staying the whole time. And like everything on the ship, it's 45 minutes. They doesn't go on all night, so you kind of do it. And before you're really bored of it, they end it. It's kind of cool. And it's silly, but it was fun. We all had a good time, cracked up laughing. It was silly. What else did we do? I will say Celebrity, this is my first time on a Celebrity cruise. They don't have as much of the teach you how to line dance and do a line dance. They don't have as much. Royal Caribbean is big on dancing and partying. Celebrity was, and maybe it's because we were in Alaska. In Alaska, on the outdoor of the ship, they don't play any music or have any announcements because it can frighten the wildlife. So it's very quiet outside, which I kind of like. I don't mind that. But the casino is, rocking all night if you're into that, which we did play slot machines and stuff. And they have entertainment, and they have live music in a bunch of venues. So, we were never bored, not even for a minute. In fact, there were many times when I was like, I really want a nap. But there was too much going on, and I am a person who, if anything's happening, I'm not going to nap. And so, yeah, I don't know. It was fun. And I know people in the comments always tell me that I'm one person told me to do better because I shouldn't cruise because of the environmental impact. But honestly, I don't know how you'd see Juneau, you can't get to unless you're on a boat or a plane. And all these little places, they seem happy to have us there, putting money there. I don't know how else you get there. And with my husband, with his health problems, it's really the only way we can travel sometimes where, he can rest, but I can still go do things. It kind of works for us. And Celebrity is pretty good as far as cruise lines go about, trying to make their ships as environmentally friendly as they can be. So I don't know what to say about that. I think they're getting better. I know it's a problem. But I don't know. I still want to travel. They're going to go with or without me. So I don't know. I try hard in life to be very environmental. I don't buy new clothes. I don't, I'm not a purchaser of things. I am a recycler. I grow things if I can. I have bees. I do my best. And I have found people who are yelling at me about it can be kind of rude. I'm sorry, don't be rude. But anyway, so I don't know, that's all I have to say about it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. It was great fun. We had a great time. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.